was...
That's probably the newest track.
Yeah, I'd say.
On the album.
Yeah, and the idea, the demo version of that was just like the first take we played through it, because we were at the end of rehearsal and I was kind of like, look, I've got this idea, let's just bash it down, see what happens. And I think it was one of those moments that we almost could have just left the room and not done it, but we did it, and I put down a vocal on it, and there was enough about it, and then started rearranging it again in the studio, and there was like hooky parts, like that slide guitar part at the start. That was like the middle eight, and again, it's just like a real great moment, so making more of that. And yeah, it's a bit like Devil's Daughter in that way, that it captures the old and the new quite well, and keeps the energy up at that point in the album.
Caroline, please come home. We need you here much more than you know. Caroline.
Caroline is the oldest song on the album, and we actually, Jack and I just started jamming that before we were even a band, and that's where the backbones of the song came from, and the arrangement is exactly the same that we came up with in the rehearsal room. It's exactly the same on the album, and when Antonio and JP joined the band, it kind of took on a bit more of its own life, and yeah, it's just a live favourite. Everybody sings along with it as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, it comes from like when we started of trying to do something which was a bit more like a kind of classic old garage band type of thing, straight ahead song, but with a nice kind of pop sensibility to it, and a chorus with a big melody. And I think that's where it kind of comes from, the whole thing, and I guess that's where it all kind of started for something that eventually became Tax the Heat, really.
Spread you out yesterday. Sit right back and start to fade. You've been talking.
The riff from Your Fool, and I don't know if you know this, came from us jamming at a rehearsal, and it was when I was playing the drum beat to The Ocean by Led Zeppelin, which is in like an odd time signature, which the riff at the start of Your Fool is. And it was just me, I was just like messing around with getting sounds or something like that. So I was just messing around, I was just playing the beat from The Ocean. I think it just took on its own life.
And that was actually the same rehearsal where we wrote Fed to the Lions, or started writing it.
Yeah.
But we didn't do anything with Your Fool for a couple of years. It never did anything with it, because it was just a riff.
It just sat there on the back burners. We started gigging it, and again, like we sort of touched on the fact that some of the others have got the punky melodic thing, the old and the new. This is more of the riffy side of stuff to what we do, but still with a big fat chorus as well.
I don't know how we lost our way. I am a plague, not human. I make your life.
It was later on in the recording process that we did this, and it's the one that took on the newest lease of life in the studio. We really sat down with Evanson, and it was one of those ones where he was in the room with us and we were trying different things, and it was all ideas that we'd already had, but we just wanted to make this song the best it could be, and so we tried out lots of different things, and there were definitely sections where we'd be trying to get to grips with something, and someone would do something and be like, yes, that's it, and from there on it would make sense. And
and Evanson kind of turned it on its head a bit. The melodies were there, the riffs were there, but it was all somehow in a different order. And he shook it up and he fought it until the end. I think because sometimes when you're in a studio, and especially if later on in the process you're starting to get a bit burnt out, he just was adamant that we should do it, and he went on at me. This was the only one actually where he saw the potential lyrically for me to change a few things, and in the end we ended up with this kind of almost dark theme to the lyric, this kind of a bit sadistic in a way, which is very different on the whole album. So it's a different song, but for that reason, it's very much a standout song.